You are an Iron Man!
Welcome to episode 34. Today I am joined by Niall Heaney. Niall, you are a well-known face around the town and you're the current chairman of the Omagh Harriers. You're very welcome onto the podcast.
Micky, thanks very much. It's great to be here. It's a pleasure to get chatting.
Niall, you and I we know each other quite well, given that we're neighbours. We're both living quite close to each other, and our children have all been up through the local school together and whatnot. But more recently, we're bumping into each other at various different events. I suppose the most recent one that you and I were involved in was the gravel grinder there in Fermanagh, just past. A great event. You're probably best known as a runner, I guess, and I want to talk about your running and a few big memorable events that I remember over the years. But like most of the guests on the podcast, I like to kind of go back in time. So I want to try and explore the journey about how did Niall become the formidable runner that he is? Where did it all start? So shall we go back to the school days and see what happened back then? Were you the sporty type at school? Were you the guy that was out in the potato sack bouncing about on sports day, or were you the wee nerd in the corner doing nothing?
Well, my first experience of running, actually, Micky, is quite funny. And I tell the children too, it's actually, whenever we were primary school, local primary school was Osnagley. It was just only up the road by a mile from 6 Mile Cross. Our principal at that stage was a man by the name of Jack Woods. You know, the older people, they were very stern, but Jack had a funny thing, actually, and when it come to doing the spellings, you used to have to stand up and do your spellings. And if you got a spelling wrong, you got a slap, and then you had to run around the school.
Right.
That is true. This is actually true.
I would well believe it.
Yeah. The first time that happened, I remember coming back into the classroom again, the sweat dripping off me, and the first thing he says to me, "What took you so long?" So then the next thing, spelling again, of course, wrong again, out again, round the school again. So that's my first introduction to running and how you run. So the thing is, I learned how to run, but I still can't spell.
I was going to say, you've subsequently become a great runner, but you can't spell for shit.
So he taught me something. Well, it's a good thing or not, I don't know. But we always laugh about it when we talk about it now. The children always laugh about it since, you know. So it's funny. So that's what you call an early memory,
That is the sort of humorous but equally traumatic early memories that we have of our school days whenever we're of a certain vintage. You certainly wouldn't get away with it nowadays.
Oh, definitely not. I don't think you'd know. There'd be definitely noise about it.
So you would have been always fairly sporty then, Niall, would you have been?
Yeah. At that time, those days, you had two choices when it come to sport. You either played football or you didn't play football. That's the way it came across. You know yourself, with those days, that's all there was. Nowadays, kids have so much variety, so much to choose from. They nearly have too much to choose from. But I would have played football actually for Barra for a few years, up onto my about 19 years of age.
Okay.
Last game of football, I think he scored 3 goals and 4 points and walked off the pitch and never went back on again afterwards.
Finished on a high.
And just walked away and never went back to it after that. So that was football over for me, so. And then just went on with career and then got into running.
The running obviously probably suited you quite well then, given that you had dedicated quite a lot of time to football, and when you seen it right through to the age of 19, you're obviously in Quernick. You still are in Quernick, it has to be said. But the running, would it have come easy for you then?
It was. I always found running to be great for your head. I always found it great to just finish the day's work and go out and go for a run. leave phones and everything. Well, there was no phones at that stage as such, like, but AirPods, whatever else you might have had, you left them all at home and just went for a run and cleared your head. And that's what I found all down through the years. I used it for that before, even with the odd marathon thrown in and out. It was more for that than anything else, headspace.
Absolutely, and it is something for anybody that doesn't run. It's something that it's one of the best byproducts of running that we discover.
Yeah.
You don't a lot of people, and perhaps some people do get into running because they've been told that this is a thing. But for those of us that took it up for fitness reasons, have found out the secondary benefits,
Yeah.
the clearing of the head, and it's vital in today's world. Like,
yeah, more so I think now than ever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
A couple of my previous guests that have been running as long as you have would have talked about some of the old events around Oma and that, back in the day. And would you have participated in any of those old races, like the likes of the 10K runs about the town, or the half marathons and the 10Ks and 5Ks and whatever else was going on?
I would have done quite a bit of running on myself, but I would never really had much time. I always worked weekends and so on, so I really wouldn't have had much time to get involved in races in younger years. I'd have spent more of my time. I got involved in canoeing.
Mm-hmm.
Probably in around 19, 20 years of age, I got involved in canoeing. Got connected up with the Oma Canoe Club.
Okay.
I just decided I'd love to try something different. I rang up the Irish Centre in Oma. They told me there was a crowd of guys meeting up in Rosnella on Sunday morning to go surfing. So I thought I'll go down. So I went down and met up with them. And do you ever go to something and you feel as if you don't really fit in? It's not working.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel right. But as I was leaving, Desi McAleer came over and asked me, told me that the following Saturday they were meeting at the bus depot car park and going out canoeing for the day, and would I come? So I thought, well, here, I'll give it a shot. And that's where it started. And I canoed for years with Desi and the guys, and made some lifelong friends out of it, actually, to say the least. I would still be a good friend, him and the family. So some amazing. We had a couple of expeditions to France canoeing. We would have done, probably every weekend. We had canoed every weekend for years. Yeah, it was brilliant. So that took over. That was there for quite a few years before we got back into running again. So it's good.
You did your first sort of big run in 1988.
Yeah.
We have been communicating. People think I just come onto this podcast and wing it, but I do a wee bit of homework. 1988 saw you do a big event. That was, would it be fair to say, your first big run as such? I'm referring, of course, to the Dublin Marathon. Can you remember much about that?
I remember actually hearing the ad on 2FM back in the day. I don't remember how I actually entered for the race. That's the funny thing about it. It wasn't done online anyway, Micky, that's for sure.
That's right.
It was probably done by post.
Probably a self-addressed envelope.
Exactly. I think that's probably what it. But I heard it advertised on 2FM and I thought, God, I'd love to have a shot at that. But no training plan, nothing as such at all. Just out I went for a run, took in a few runs. I remember did a 2 16 meters and an 18 meter. That's as much as I had done, and then just had a go at it. Landed in Dublin the day before, and the next morning I started off and ran it, and there was no gels. I had no idea what I was supposed to be drinking or anything. Got through it, thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, compared to the days when we see the photographs now of friends of mine standing on the finish line waiting for me to cross the finish line, as opposed to today whereby you can't even get in 200 yards, 300 yards of the finish line. Like,
Yes.
massive difference. And back then, actually, I think the only other guy around was running that type of stuff was Dominic McCurtain. Dominic was running that, and still running strong, still going well. Still run all the races. But it was taken very strange at that time. People were wondering, what's this man at? Is he mad in the head? Where's he going? But that sort of got the bug for trying that distance, that type of thing. So it went
So
from
it was kind of just on a whim, as an
totally.
idea. You sound like a bit of a free spirit, Niall. To me, you sound like a guy who's kind of just go with the flow and see what happens. Something pops up on the radio and you think, oh, I'll have a go at that, or a chance discussion with Desi McAleer. Oh, I like the sound of that. Let's give that a crack.
Oh,
A nice kind of free way of living, I suppose.
I think you should try everything, Mickey. I think we should have a go at all those things. I think you should, the only person who holds you back from doing these things is yourself. You know,
100%.
so that you need to try it. You don't know unless you try it how it's going to go. If you
Yeah,
so
I think we have a bit of a similarity there as well now, because I've tried a few things and I've done a few wacky things. I've done quite a few skydives. I've done bungee jumping. I've done scuba diving. I've done the abseiling. You've done a few mad old things too as well.
or you have to try these mad things. No point being sensible all the time, Mickey. Like,
So what else have you done then? Would you say is a wee bit kind of out there and a wee bit wacky outside of the running
well,
world? We'll be talking enough about running as we get through the podcast. But did you get in a hot air balloon at one point?
I've been very, very lucky, and then I had quite a few hot air balloon trips. The brother-in-law actually would be big into hot air balloons, and he's actually a pilot. So I would have been done a lot of flying along with him whenever he was training years ago. And then he got into hot air balloons, and we'd have done quite a few trips around home here, set off. But I think the most amazing trip actually was in Austria back about 10 years ago. We were out skiing, but we're lucky enough that it coincided with a balloon festival in Austria.
Right.
So we were actually lucky to get up on one of the balloons. But the morning we actually set off, it turned out a lot more different than was planned. But the morning we're setting off, and down to help the lads set up the balloons. And when we're just about to go, by stuck for my brother and I, Brian and I, to jump in and join him. We thought, this is brilliant. The rest of the balloons had gone on down the valley, and that's the way the wind was blowing. But as we were about 10 minutes behind them, the time we went to set off, the wind changed direction.
Right.
Instead of sending us down the valley, it actually sent us up over the mountains.
Oh Christ!
So little did we know, as the journey went on, we were running out of gas.
Lovely.
So as we went up over the top of the first mountain and we dropped into the next, we thought we'd drop into the next valley. The wind picked up again and pushed us up and pushed us over the next mountain.
Right.
So we ended up, I think, about maybe 2.5 hour balloon trip, and ended up having to crash land in a forest about 3-4 hours road journey from where we started off. So
Bloody hell.
it was an amazing event. But if we landed on the mountain, we were going to have to helicopter rescue to get us out of there. So we were lucky enough in that we had just enough gas to get us over, and then the fella Peter Haggerty, who was actually flying the balloon, spotted a clearance in the forest and just dropped us into the clearance just away. So it turned out amazing. But yes, been very, very lucky down through the years to try these different type of things. Like yourself, parachute jumping, been there too, done that too, good few times. Plenty of airline flights, hot air balloons, yeah, all that type of. Very lucky to have a chance, It's all good.
It's highly recommended, and I would subscribe to your philosophy there too. If you have an opportunity to push things and to test yourself and to experience a new high or a new thing, then absolutely get after it. Like, you only live once type thing.
Yeah.
So in 1998, you did Dublin Marathon. Then you spent quite a long time at the canoeing, doing the parachutes and whatever else, hot air ballooning and whatnot. And it was a right wee while then up until your next event. The next event you did was the Dublin Marathon again, but there was a bit of a wait between. So 88 was your first, and then it was in 1995 that you tackled it again.
Yeah, I would have done.
Interested to know what the 1995 version of Niall Heaney turned up to that event, because the first guy was on a chance and on a whim with really not a wild pile of knowledge. I'm sure the 1995 version of yourself would have been a wee bit more clued in, or maybe not. You tell
No,
me.
I don't know if it was or not, to be honest. I think I'd get pushed running to the side actually for quite a few years, and had gone off and done those other bits and pieces. Like I would have done a lot of cycling.
Mm-hmm.
We did the Malin to Mizzen around in between times. We did border trek. We did different bike challenges. A lot of that sort of like canoe and the Liffey descent, a lot of canoe slalom, all that type of thing in between times. So that kept us occupied up till around that early 90s, and then I would have got back into a bit of like Greencastle and done different races like that there, Omaha, different
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, maybe in around that, whatever was going on around that time. So that kept me occupied, and then got married in 95, and in May 95, and then decided I would go back and try Dublin again in October. So yeah, I had a go in Dublin. Time wasn't much different, much the same time in it, like maybe a couple of minutes faster. So I had to
Mm-hmm.
be wiser, but still very enjoyable. Different atmosphere, totally different. Numbers started to grow, so a
Yeah.
different atmosphere, but good too. Yeah.
And would you have been the type of guy that would have been maybe not so much back then, and but even more recently, would you have been a person who would have been caught up in times, or would you be more of a go along there to have a to enjoy the event, or would you go there to compete as such? If you know what I'm trying to say.
I would always like to push myself or try as hard as I could with these different events, But then you would usually find that life would get in the way when it comes to training, as it does with everyone. It's very hard to put in the time that you need. It's lucky when some of these people have they're dedicated enough, but I always found that it would drifted off to go to work and different things like that there, and left that the training was pushed to the one side. And then as long as I got to a race, done as well as I possibly could, and actually finished, I was happy.
Mm-hmm.
As long as no DNFs, I didn't care.
I would be the same. I'm not too fussed and I'm not too hard on myself. I find that each race or event that I complete, I kind of just put that down as a wee mini victory. Give myself a wee pat in the back and then move on to the
Yeah,
next one.
yeah. I mean, like, you have to be honest with you. I wasn't going to win medals. I wasn't going to win marathons. So it was just setting a personal best at it, like to try and get a better time and enjoying the day, and seeing how to complete it. In other
Mm-hmm.
words, done, enjoyed it. That's it. Let's go to see what next comes around the corner.
You've mentioned there in relation to the cycling, and you did complete the border track. You've done it a couple of times. It's
Yeah.
something that I'm not that overly familiar with, and I suppose for anybody else that isn't too au fait with it, talk me through what the border track looks like and what that involves and your memories of it.
Border track originally started, I think, from between Belfast and Dublin, and then back again. But in the first few years, but it actually turned out that it was got quite dangerous because there was so much traffic on that main road. And then they changed it that it actually started in Enniskillen, came from Enniskillen down and through Oma, down and through Ballyshannon into Sligo, and you stayed
Okay,
overnight in Sligo, and then headed back the following day in through Cavan and finished back up in Enniskillen.
very
So
good.
2 day event. 2 day event. It was a big event. Like at that time, there was a lot of entries for it. But I think it hasn't been on in quite a few years. I don't think, to be honest. I've done it 3 times as far as 3 times. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Right.
And I suppose that give you a sense of long days in the saddle, which I presume then led on to the notion of Mizzen to Malin,
Yeah.
which is not for the faint-hearted. This is something that I have contemplated, but I have merely contemplated it along the lines of like what that must be like and what that must take out of you. I haven't contemplated entering it or doing it, but I've just found myself thinking about what it must be like to have to cycle the full length of Ireland. Like it's a bit nuts.
But we did it just over 3 days. We did three long days and then a short day.
Mm-hmm.
The short day, I think, was 36 mile, and the other three were 105, 110 mile each, something to that effect, like somewhere around about that. But it was great crack. It was great crack. We were a good bunch. great bunch doing it. Like, there was about 10 or 12 of us did it, as far as I remember. We raised about 36,000 for charity on
Brilliant
that.
stuff.
Pink Peddlers, we called ourselves. Some of the ladies that come up with this idea. It was for breast cancer. So
Very
Pink
good.
Peddlers, the girls come up with. So, but it was a great event. But as you know, with cycling, there's a lot of time involved.
Yeah,
It's a lot of time, like 3, 4, 5 hours at a time, training Friday, Saturday, Sunday, getting ready
yeah,
for it.
hmm
We were ready for it, so it made it that much easier, you
yeah.
know. But a great event, great crack.
And that's, I mean, those two big days are the guts of an Ironman cycle, back to back.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
you put that into context and you say that out loud, that's like, oh, that's a fair bit of cycling.
yeah.
To be fair, like,
But it's doable. Like if over the course of a day, and you're not panicking, you're not putting yourself under severe pressure. Like it's doable. Like it's easy enough to do. And then yourself when you're in a group. If you're in a group of 10 or 12 people, it is easier if someone's keep taking the front hours off and swapping and changing around and keeping the thing moving. It becomes a lot easier. Then it was good fun in the bunch. It's just a laugh the whole way. That made it so much easier. So much
uh,
easier.
no, that's fair enough. One of the other things I just wanted to ask was something I've often thought about. Is there a standard recognized route from Mizzen to Malin and vice versa? Or does each of these expeditions just, it's upon yourself to you work out the route in between? You can
As
go
far
straight down the middle, you can go down by the west coast, you can cross, you can go up and down through dales and hills and whatever else, up to yourself.
Well, the thing is, I would say now it's probably even more difficult because of all the main roads. The major
Mm-hmm.
roads are so much busier now that you would have to stay off the main roads. So it might be even, it's not a matter of sticking it into Google now because it'll come up with it all completely wrong for you now. So
That's right.
I don't think there's any specified route. It's up to yourself as to what way you go, how you do it. So
It's probably something along the lines of, well, I've got a second cousin who lives in such and such. We'll go by there in case we need a cup of tea or a pea
yeah, well,
stop.
actually, I can remember one of the days. Actually, I think it worked out the mileage. Maybe in the second day, or mileage worked out that wee bit further because they'd booked the hotel and it was far too far off the route. We put about 10 or 15 mile extra on ourselves to get to the hotel we were staying in. But
Just an extra bonus.
yeah, one of them things, just one of them days.
So the um the running was well established. It's in you. It was always in you from the
Yeah,
football days. A couple of
yeah,
marathons. The canoeing had left you that you were pretty comfortable and au fait with water
yeah.
sports, and you've done the border trek. You've done Mizzen to Malin on the cycle. You put them three things or those three elements together. You're not that far off thinking about a triathlon. And then there comes a local event to Loch McCrory and your ears prick up and you think, like you did whenever you heard that ad on the 2FM, maybe I'll have a go at this.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Tell me about Try the Loch.
Well, try luck. Well, when something happens like that on your doorstep, you're a fool not to try it. Like it's too close not to try it. I couldn't go
Yeah.
down and stand. I wouldn't think I could go down and sit and watch the guys doing it and then not having a go at it. I'd have to try it out and see what I thought of it. Just, the only thing, my swimming wasn't great. My swimming would have let me down in those things and still would. Um, I couldn't say I can't swim, but I wouldn't be a good swimmer. I would
Okay.
have to get back in and really do a lot of practice. And if I wanted to do another triathlon or anything, I would have to get back to the pool again. But
Mm-hmm.
no, I thoroughly enjoyed it that time. Thoroughly enjoyed it. But then I think I connected more with the Harriers around that time, and the children were starting to get to the age of wanting to go out and do things. So I was finding it great. I could go for a run, put them on the bike, and I go for a run, and they would come out along with me. So
Mm-hmm.
we're kind of utilising everything at that stage, and then the triathlon was kind of pushed to the side, just. Plus, I was finding it near impossible to get out on the bike. Getting out for a run was great. You do an hour run, and you have done a bit of exercise.
Yeah.
And then try to put the bike on top of that. I just hadn't enough time for it, So that's what happened.
So it's an interesting wee period of time too, and it's something I just want to tap into quite briefly, if you don't mind. But
Yeah,
it's just a lovely thought that you're able to bring the children out on their bikes while you do the run, And I suppose for your children growing up, and I know your children are very sporty and they're very active. And I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And I suppose one of my wee sayings is monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah, indeed, definitely. Yeah.
And it's just nice to be able to take a wee minute and acknowledge our role in that, and being a positive role model for our kids. And you certainly tick them boxes now. And it's something that's just very evident. All your girls have come on, and they're all very active and very sporty. So that's where it all comes from. Then, do you think?
Well, we were very lucky actually when I joined the canoe club. I met up with Desi McAleer, and Desi and us became very good friends down through the years, like really good friends. Still will be very good friends. And his kids grew up with mine,
Mm-hmm.
so we would have been out canoeing. We would have taken them out canoeing all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'd have taken them out water skiing. They'd have been out water skiing with us all. They'd have been doing all that sort of stuff. So we'd have done it all together. Two families would have done that all together all the time. So the kids were always active. And then they got into the running, and the more I got into the running, the more they got involved in it. And then the children wanted to go to the Harriers because I was going.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd have brought them to the juniors, and they'd have loved it. They loved it. The threat in their house was if they didn't eat the dinner, they didn't go to Harriers.
Okay.
So
So you
that's it.
you had picked up a few tips from the old schoolmaster there,
Yeah.
like, eh?
Possibly did, but no, they. I suppose it's as you say, Mickey. If you're enjoying the thing, and you're seen to be enjoying it, then the kids are going to do the same. They're going to enjoy it as well. You know?
Yeah. No, it's just very powerful, but it's always, I always like to acknowledge that and make a point. Just I think it's just worthwhile.
Yeah.
Give ourselves that wee pat in the back for that.
Well, I can't say.
Um,
I can't say I take all the credit for all that sort of thing. I think my wife would have to take a lot of credit for that too. Now.
well, absolutely, yeah. Behind every good man and all that.
Oh, most definitely. We have to say that now and be on the right side.
So look, let's get back on track.
Yeah.
You escalated. I'm going to use the word escalated because on the timeline here, you did try the lock in 2011, and then in
Yeah.
2012 you by your own account there you were in the Harriers. Your running was probably taking a priority, so you went and completed the ultra in Connemara. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And what's the crack with that ultra? And people that talk to me about ultras blow my mind all the time, and I'm sure that your tale of your there's never two accounts, even of the same race, between two
No.
people that even
Oh.
compete in the same race. They sound like completely different things.
Yeah.
I think, were you in the same race as Ricky Duffy,
The
or
second
maybe
year. The
the
second year.
second year running?
The second year, as far as I can remember, I get them.
Um,
I get them mixed up anyway. But I remember. Um, I think it was the second year Ricky and I did it together. Yes,
mhm.
did it the second year. I had done, from recollection, I had done uh, the Connemara, and then around that time, the Tyrone Marathon was on.
Yes, the
And
the one off around Carrickmore, isn't that right?
Eric Moore, yeah, that nice flat race.
I've heard so much about it. It's a dirty course from all accounts. I
Oh
hope they
my!
never bring it back. But at the
Uh,
same time, I'm kind of thinking, bring it
no,
back.
you want to have a go at it? I know, right? You do, Mickey. You
I
definitely want
just,
to go. You go have a shot at it. No, it was around that time. So we met up. We actually ran that together, and that
mhm.
was we got to know each other over that time. And then I think that would have been then I went and done the Connemara, and then I think it was the second year. As far as there's that many bits and pieces you get them mixed up through. But yes, Ricky and I did a couple together, a couple of great races. Connemara is a 39 mile marathon and a half basically.
Uh-huh.
Starts in Mam Cross and goes down into Lannan, and then swings round and comes back to finishes in Man Cross in Connemara. So it's a lovely scenic route. Hilly, tough, but it's good. I think it probably must be about one of the worst starts for a half marathon.
Right.
The half marathon actually starts in Lannan,
Uh-huh.
and the first thing you hit is a hill. You head off about 400, 500 metres into the race, you hit a hill, and that's a really steep climb out of Lannan. So, but it was a great event. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I thought it was a great event. So that's why you say we're back another twice and had another couple of goals at it.
I was going to
You know,
say you're a bit of a glutton for punishment but then it's probably fair to say you're a man who enjoys hills. Is the word enjoy maybe too strong?
I,
But you're not shy of the hills, like.
no, no, I think I enjoy it. I enjoy the challenge. It's part of it. It's part of the challenge just to try it. And what's a hill? It's a flat road with a bad attitude. Just get over
That's fair. I haven't heard that one before, but it's a fair enough account, It is,
it.
it is
Yeah,
indeed. But no, it's. I've said this before. The ultra scene's bonkers. Like the hillier the better. The can't be hard or hilly enough. The gnarlier and more dangerous. Bring it on. Um.
yeah. But
So,
the ultra marathon actually is. It's more about just keep going.
aye.
Marathons we tend to set ourselves goals in marathons to try and beat times and have better PBs and all sorts of stuff, and we put ourselves a lot of pressure on ourselves with marathons. Whereas with ultras, I find you're more or less wanting to get to the end. You want to finish the distance.
Mm-hmm.
So if you, as somebody said one time, the first thing you have to learn about to do an ultra is how to walk.
Aye.
It's not about maybe going out and running the whole thing from start to finish. It's possibly getting to the finish line is your goal,
Yes.
and hopefully in good shape.
Aye.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. I think that's a fair point. And I suppose if you are going to go out for a long haul, you might as well take in some views along the way. Then
Most definitely, yeah. Makes it definitely makes it a wee bit easier. Change the scenery, yeah, yeah. But
one of the things, Niall, I was very excited about chatting to you about was something that a lot of people may remember. And it was during that infamous year of 2020, whenever we were all sat in the house because we couldn't do anything because of friggin' COVID-19. Both a
yes,
curse and a blessing at the same time because it taught us a lot about ourselves, and it forced us to go back to old ways and to reconnect with our families and to spend time at home. So in that respect, it was quite good. Um, and people came up with a lot of weird and wonderful and wacky ways to entertain themselves and to raise money for charity and to mark things, and all sorts of backyard gimmicks and events were taking place. You turned 55 years of age. Don't mind me sharing that with the general public. You turned
oh no,
55 in 2020.
yeah.
Um, and you decided that you would mark that in your own way. So
I,
talk me through what was going through your head on the
well,
approach to your 55th.
well, you know yourself in that year that a lot of people had it very tough with COVID. A lot of people were really dependent, I suppose, on where you lived. We were very lucky in that we lived out in the countryside, so we could had a wee bit more freedom to come and go. But with lockdowns and everything else, and then as you say, with my 55th coming up, I thought I wanted to mark it in some way, and I always wanted to do that wee bit extra distance. So I come up with the idea of maybe trying to run the Lock 5 course, which runs right past my door. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I've been involved in organising it from the start, so I kind of thought, I could do this. I could run on a loop, and then every time I can pass the house, I can stop and have a drink and whatever else, and everything's sitting up for me. And if I can do it, I can do it on my own. I don't need anybody with me. I can just carry on. And this idea got a bit of momentum about it, and then I thought, right, maybe I could do this. But then when it come closer to the time, the restrictions lifted, and it was amazing because there's so many people were able to then join me for that race.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just an amazing day. And I think it was a lift that everybody needed at that time,
Mm-hmm.
if you understand. nobody had anything to aim towards, and all of a sudden this thing was happening, and a lot of the guys from the Harriers, when I came up and ran with me a few miles, there was even people ran full marathons that day. Young
Yeah.
children ran full marathons. They didn't expect to do it. Nobody thought they were going to do it. And the next thing they got roped into running the 5 mile and come around and stopping. We'd get a drink and then we'd go again the next 5 mile. Before we knew where it was, the day just ticked along. But it was a very warm day, 28, 29 degrees the whole day. The sun shone from 6 o'clock in the morning right through the whole day. Fantastic day, like great day altogether.
Mm-hmm.
And it was great to be able to raise money at that stage as well for charities and so on like that, because there was quite a lot of money raised actually for the two charities. Was the chest, heart and stroke and cancer research.
Mm-hmm.
Chest, heart and stroke because my father-in-law died of a stroke very, very suddenly.
Mm-hmm.
And the cancer charity because a lady I used to work with me for years. I actually started working with my parents and then worked with me. Passed away very suddenly with cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I would like to do something for them. So there's a combination of a whole lot of things. I was able to run the distance. We were able to raise money for charity. It was a good buzz in the area. Even everyone along the road was come out and was cheering us on, and it just turned out a fantastic atmosphere, like fantastic day. And then of course
It
I get to cross the finish line with my 4 girls, you know, 4 girls, and I crossed the
class.
finish line together. So it was brilliant, fantastic day.
And it's for anybody that doesn't know the Lock 5 course, it's probably fair to say that it's not the handiest wee course. There's a few nasty wee roads with attitude, as you would call them,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
it.
There is hills with attitude. Yeah.
Do you
There's
know the
tough
elevation of
roads. I
what's the
never looked.
elevation like?
I never bothered looking. I thought I'm not going to look at it. I don't want to know.
Uh, I
uh,
must just have a wee look at that out of nosiness for myself, because that would be nasty whenever you multiply that up. I mean, that's 11 loops of the Lock 5. Anybody that's done it once will know that it's a fairly taxing wee route, albeit that you're busting yourself whenever you're doing it once.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but even to contemplate doing that 2, 3, 4 times would be a formidable task. But to set yourself out at whatever time that was in the morning, thinking, right, I'm gonna do this 11 times. I mean, I remember thinking at the time, that takes a certain level of determination and self belief and courage and all sorts of crazy emotions. Do you know what I mean? Have you ever thought about it since and thought to yourself, Christ, that was a fair old thing to be doing?
I think the atmosphere on the day was so amazing. It was just fantastic. It was just so many people there, and the crack was good, and the weather was good, and that made such a difference that I could have kept going. It didn't, but I was at the finish line. Now I was tired at the finish by all means, but if I had to do another couple of laps, I probably could have done it because
Mm-hmm.
the atmosphere and the people that were there were carrying me on, willing me to get it finished. That there's no way I was going to stop.
Yeah,
Now, particularly, so
yeah.
that made all the difference to it. Made all the difference, and it was good just to be able to raise the money as well at that stage. I'm actually trying to think of I think it's about 7,000, just over £7,000 we raised that time as
Brilliant.
well. So two charities give it £3,500 each.
No, that's mighty
You know,
stuff. Great
which
stuff. Great stuff.
was the icing on the cake, like as well. So
Shortly after the local annihilation of the Lock 5, and quite frankly, humiliated everybody that's ever done it. But anyway, that set you up quite nicely then for another big event in 2020, if I'm right. The Seven Sisters. Is that right?
oh yeah, oh yes, that's a nice handy little race.
That is just, I don't even know where to start with this one because keep me right, and I think I chatted to Ricky about this one too. Isn't this the one that goes
Yeah,
over the seven peaks?
yes, in
Uh,
Donegal.
And the halfway point is Creeshlock, isn't that right?
The halfway point is Muckish.
Aye,
You come
Mocky.
you come down to the bottom of the Miners Path in Muckish, and you turn around and you go straight back up again.
Because I did that once, and that's a savage. It's a nightmare. That wee bit. That's only a wee bit as well in the Seven Sisters, really, isn't it? Like,
Oh, that's
tell
yeah.
me
Well,
about the Seven Sisters. What's your recollection of this of the whole event? Just I'll give you free rein on it. You tell me. Blow my mind.
Seven Sisters actually started. I picked Ricky up that morning. I think it was 4 o'clock in the morning. I picked him up on Oma, and we headed down the road, heading for the start of the race down till the foot of Errigal. And that going down the road, there was such a heavy mist that we actually missed our turn off, and then ended up. Ricky had a Google and went out over the top of the mountains to get down to the foot of Errigal.
And I'm sure he was delightfully calm and collected during those moments. I'm
As always,
assuming.
as always. But I remember actually when we were about 2 mile out from the foot of Errigal, we looked and just the cloud just broke.
Mm-hmm.
We could see Errigal, and it turned out the most amazing day. There wasn't a cloud in the sky from 6 o'clock in the morning right through the whole day.
Brilliant.
That's nice, but then that throws up a few problems in itself, in that you're running in like 26, 28 degrees over the top of the mountains. Was very few water stops.
Aye.
Carry as much water as you can. But it's an epic race, and it really, although it's crazy to say, it's probably one of the tougher things I did, but I actually really enjoyed it. Now, during the time, didn't enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
During the time of doing it, it was far from easy. It was 11 and a half hours running. It starts in the wee town below Errigal and runs. You're constant from you start the race. You're climbing the whole way up to the foot of Errigal, and then you go round Errigal and you go way out across the mountains, heading out to Muckish. And you go down. Funny, Ricky had got when you go into a race like that, it's kind of you pick your pace, and if you're whatever your pace is, if you're comfortable running at that pace, you're better going on at that pace rather than waiting for someone, because if you wait back, it can actually be sore on you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can feel more uncomfortable. So Ricky was quicker than me, so he went on ahead, so we let him go on. And funny, he had gone down the Miners Path and turned and come back up again, and he met me at the top of it.
Mm-hmm.
We just looked at other, and I can't remember the words, but it basically was that we were both exhausted, and we still had the full distance to go back,
Aye.
and then climb Errigal, and then go on ahead to the finish.
Right.
So when you get through all that, and you come out, you go up the back of Errigal to get to the top of it, and when we were climbing up over the top of it, I remember coming up, and there was like hikers, walkers were standing at the top of Errigal, and then this woman looked down at me and said, "Where the hell did you come out of?" And all I could do was laugh at her, although I had an energy to laugh at her. Was laugh at her and go on ahead and run on down past her and head back down the normal path that you would walk up, because
Mm-hmm.
we come up the back of it. And then when you go down onto the main road, you think to yourself, "This is brilliant. We only have a couple of miles downhill now the whole way to the finish, back into the village and into the finish." But down the road, a mile down the road, don't the flipping detour you off? If you know at the bottom of Errigal, there's actually always like a wee coffee van sits there on the left-hand side. There's a lay-by.
Uh-huh.
You had to go off the road, down the back behind the coffee van, away out across, in through the I think it's the Guinness estate. Does the Guinness family own the estate there too? In through
Right.
this, round the back, and I think maybe an extra 3 mile on you at that stage to make it up till, I think it was 39 mile as far as I remember thereabouts. But it's an epic race, but damn, it's tough.
It's absolutely nuts. Do you know? Like, it really is. But I suppose it's akin to the Ironman experience in the sense of a big day out with a lot of exercising, a lot of calories, a lot of hours of pain. But then, the 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 satisfaction of having completed it is
Exactly.
something that you carry with you then forever.
Yeah. You when you finish the race, the first thing is never again. I'm never doing that again. And a week down the line, and what time's it on next year? What date is it on next year?
So have you done that a couple of times then? Have you?
No,
Or did you?
I no, I've only done that once now. I only got a chance to do it once. I wouldn't rule it out again, but once will do for
I
now. Once will do for.
once is planted. Well, here we're up to 2020. You've your ultra run done. You've the 55 mile for your 55th birthday done. You've the Seven Sisters done. There's not much left to do now except go for 100 miles. You probably didn't bother thinking that that was an idea, did you? Or
Mm,
maybe you did.
would I do that?
You did, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Talk me through the. Talk me through the. That was the in 2022 then, wasn't it?
Yeah, April 2022. Yeah, we blame Mr. Ricky Duffy for this one. I have to blame him for it. Yeah, give him that one. He had done a 24-hour actually in Belfast the year before,
Mm-hmm.
and he set the spark for the 24-hour. And I had been trying to get one to do one, and I just couldn't make the dates. Things just wouldn't work out for me. And then this one came up in a place called Florida Manor,
Mm-hmm.
Valencia direction.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'll have a go at this. So signed up for it and everything else. As usual, try and get as much training in as you can. But run to work in the mornings and work all day, and then run home again in the evenings and try and get in miles. And then I did. Jill McCann was doing her 48-hour run around the track. Remember, she did that. So that was the same year.
Yep. Yeah.
I got on a bit of training. I actually worked all day. Finished up about 11 at night. Got home, got changed. Went straight to the track, and ran throughout the whole night with her. Ran through till 6, 7 o'clock the next morning. So
Okay.
that got me kind of accustomed to running at night. So I think it covered about 32 mile that night or something to that effect to get the miles in the legs, because I was working all day. So I was on my feet all day. So I ran all night, and then I was back to work the next day again. So I thought, that's training done and dusted, ticked off.
That endurance bit done. Yeah.
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 I know I can stay on my feet for that length of time. What distance I'll cover, I'm not sure, but let's have a go.
Yeah.
So I landed up at the race. I didn't think much about having to have a crew with me. I didn't. I just thought, here, let's have a go at this and see how I get on. So April morning, starts at 12 o'clock on the Saturday. It was a lovely morning. Started off nice. Sun was shining. Turned into rain as the day went on. And then coming towards evening time, it started to get very cold.
Mm-hmm.
I was clocking the miles up fairly well. It was a loop about 4.5 mile. So it was clocking, we just go right round the loop. But it had every surface in it. It had everything from gravel till tarmac till like a rubberized track that was down for horses to walk on, till run over a field to make up that distance. So
Yeah.
surfaces to compete with, but things were going not too bad, I would say, till I got to about 26, 27 mile, and I went over on a rock, and it twisted my knee. So I remember I struggled on. I walked for about a mile, and thought, well, here, we'll just see if I can walk it off. So eventually I walked it out not too bad, and then I thought, well, I'll just keep going and see how I get on. So started running a bit, ran a bit, walked a bit, ran a bit, walked a bit, kept going. But as I say, as the day went on, it got very cold, and I made the fundamental error of not changing my gear in time.
Right.
And as the evening got colder, you know yourself, when the sweat gets cold, the gear gets cold. So about 9:30 that night, just all of a sudden, I just got so cold. I was absolutely freezing. I just couldn't warm. So I was running along, and I ran round past. I'd borrowed a small tent of Ricky, like a one-man tent thing, a stand-up thing.
Yeah.
All my gear was in that, so I said, right, I have to get into this tent. I have a flask of soup with me. That's perfect. So I got as far as the tent. Eventually got the lid off the soup, trying to get it, and wasn't it cold? Soup had gone cold, absolutely freezing. Oh man! So I climbed into the tent and thought, I'm going to have to get my gear changed here because I'm starting to really shake. I'm going to go. Like it's not a joke anymore here. Like
Danger zone.
I'm going to have to get changed. But I put my hand into the bag and all the gear in the bag was soaking,
Oh, for God's sake.
ringing. Everything was soaking from the condensation and the cold.
Aye.
And then I went to lift the water bottle, and the water bottle was slushy. It had frozen. I didn't realize actually it had dropped. The temperature had dropped down to something like -4, -5.
Right.
So
Bloody proper cold then.
proper cold. So I was sitting in this tent with a dry robe around me, the teeth rattling in my head, trying to figure out how am I going to get out of this? How am I going to get this sorted? But then didn't one of the girls, one of the children, Neve was driving a wee car at that stage, a wee Polo. But I knew the noise of the car, but all of a sudden I heard the car pulling up outside the tent, and it was the girls, and they come in, eventually got me out of the tent and got me into the front of the car, and thankfully they had hot soup with them, so I got soup into me, maybe half an hour in the car, got thawed out. I had no gear to change into. They hadn't got anything. They didn't think of taking anything with them, so I was still in that sodden gear as such. So I got wrapped up, put on the sea cozy, put on a hat, put on a neck scarf, put on everything, and set off running again with everything on. You know, the sea cozy and all on, the whole lot.
Everything that you could get on you just.
Exactly. So I spent the whole night running with sea cozy on me, clocking up the miles, trying to get around, trying to get as many miles as I could done every time. And all you had in your head that time was, I have to get the miles done. I have to make 100 miles, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you come round past the finish line every time, you know, I couldn't work out what miles I had done for. I think I got that tired I couldn't even read the watch properly.
Aye.
You know. But eventually I got talking to some of the stewards and asked them, and they had told me that I had whatever miles. I can't remember the exact miles, but I thought if I just keep going, I probably will make it. But then as the morning come round and the light got brighter and the temperature come round and started to heat up again, I felt, you know, I'm actually going to be able to achieve this. So I got it completed, 101.6 mile in 23 and a half hours.
Unbelievable.
Job done.
Job done. But hey, what an event that is. Like, I mean, again, I'm going to refer to the mindset, and you know, you said it there just whenever you were recollecting your thoughts about I have to get the miles in, I have to get this done.
Yeah.
So you know, you weren't, you know. I'm just thinking if that was me and I was in that tent at night at -4, cold, wet, hungry, with cold soup and an icy drink, with nobody about, freezing in a shitty wee tent,
Yeah.
I'd be thinking, you know, well, fuck this. I'm going up the road. Hey,
Well,
you know, and only for the cuddies coming in the car. You were you at any point thinking I'm going to have to pull the pin on this, or were you thinking, no, frig it, I'm going to have to just get out,
well,
grin and bear
no,
it?
I'd contemplated a few times about, but I could hear actually the stewards across the way. They were in a tent across the way, and they were having a bit of crack and all the rest. And I was sitting in the tent thinking to myself, if I call these guys and they see shape of mine, they're going to make me stop, you know, and that's not happening. So, one way or other, I was going to get out of that tent, whatever it made it took. But luckily enough, like as I say, the girls pulled up alongside me, and that was just other than that, I don't know what sort of shape I'd even done. You know yourself, you got that far through. I don't think if I had started running again that I would have actually warmed up anyway.
But it's a rock solid mindset. Do you know what I mean? Whenever you do put your mind to something, you get after it. You go and get it done. You worry about how you're going to get it done, but you know you're going to get there.
Yeah, but it was when you get so far in some of those races, it's the thought of getting so far and not completing and thinking, do I have to come back and do this all again sometime?
To tick the box that you done it.
Exactly. So the box is ticked now, well and truly, and I don't know if I've been a rush back to do another one now, to be quite honest. Although, in saying that, I finished London and Dublin the same year, later on the same year, and I was in worse shape finishing Dublin at the end of the year.
Because of what you pushed through and what you put on yourself in terms of covering that distance with a different goal.
Exactly. I think you marathons, you tend to push on. You're pushing yourself as hard as you can to try and beat the time. It's the obstacle, with PBs, you have to get the time. Sub threes, whatever the case may be, you have to get there. With an ultra, it's a finish line. You need to get the finish line. You have to get it. And 'cause I can remember finishing Dublin, and Tim Shields was at the finish line, and I basically just fell in a heap because I was completely wrecked. Whereas across the line in the 100 and the 24 hour, I just walked across the line. It's just as if I ran across the line. It's just as if I'd done a 10 miler.
Yeah. And therein lies that difference, where you left it all out there on the marathon, whereby you were collapsed, exhausted, everything spent. It's great. It's a great thing to be able to look back on and think about, this idea that you are capable of pushing. And I suppose we all are. But it's really nice to be on the other side of a big epic event like that, and just to give yourself that acknowledgement that, whenever I put my mind to something, I'll do it.
Yeah. Well,
and it's a great message to be sent out. And it leads me quite seamlessly up into more recent times there, where the girls had come down to your rescue and got you through the 101 miles. We'll call it 101 miles. It'd be rude not to throw the one on the end of it. It's the sort of thing that you don't round that down.
Nope.
No, if anything, you round it up. It should be 102. If it's 101.5, it's 102 miles. You certainly don't. So it's 101.
Don't be stealing any of my yards.
Yeah, that's right. So the girls had come to your rescue anyway, and you were never so glad to see a wee polo in all your life.
Right.
But 2023 then saw you and the girls team up, and we all sat back in our homes and watched these on the TV.
Ireland's Fittest Family, yeah.
Ireland's Fittest Family. How that was a great bit of crack, and something that one of your daughters decided would be a good idea. Talk us through how that all happened.
Maeve was in bed one night, supposedly sleeping. And
you mean they don't go to sleep whenever they're sent to their rooms? Wait, what? Go on ahead. Sorry.
Something come up on, I think, Instagram or some of that about Ireland's Fittest Family, and she sat and she entered us for Ireland's Fittest Family and never bothered saying, "Oh, by the way, I entered you for it." Till maybe about a month or so later, I don't remember the timeline, but a month or so later, something like that. There was a message. She sent a message into the family WhatsApp to say that we had been invited for an interview, a video call, with the producers of Ireland's Fittest Family.
Class.
So, yeah, you can imagine the shockwave that sent through the house. The panic was on. But it was amazing. It was great. We had the video call with the guys, and then we went down from that till going down for a fitness test.
Mm-hmm.
Went down to Meath, and we had a fitness test to do. We were lucky we got through it, and then we had to go back then to Meath again to meet our coach. So we landed down in Meath. We didn't know at the stage who the coach was going to be. They picked them for you, so we had no idea. So we landed down, and then of course the cameras were all on. The car pulled up, and it was Davy Fitz.
Right.
I think we were half delighted and half shocked because we didn't know what Davy was. Didn't know Davy as a character. I know I heard plenty about him, but I didn't know him as such.
Yeah.
So he turned out to be Oh, he's a gas character. He's a great fella. Great fella. You know. So
Yeah.
we done all the filming and all with him that day. Must have been a couple of hours there, I suppose, doing different bits and pieces. And then what was the next one? Then we had to go down then for the actual filming itself. It was actually a Wednesday evening. We went down on a Wednesday evening, and we went to the hotel. And it was like when we landed in the hotel, we were told to ask for some packaging or something they'd left for us. And of course, when we got in and everything else, they gave us this huge big box. Huge big box. It's like Christmas morning when we went to the room. It was full of all this gear, all the Aaron's Fittest Family gear and leggings and t-shirts and whatever else and water bottles and bags and a whole load of stuff. So that set us up. So then the next morning we had to be away early. We had to be actually on the film set for 7 o'clock in the morning. We spent the whole day then filming down at the site. But it was a great experience. Like I would highly recommend it for any family who wants to go. Have a go at it. It's great. They're a good bunch. They're a great bunch. Like, you know, they really very welcoming and it was a great week. And then we had 2 days filming, 2 full days filming because we were actually the first weekend.
Yes.
And then we knew after that day that we were unlucky. We hadn't gone any further. But we couldn't tell anybody.
That's
You know,
right.
we weren't allowed to tell anybody, so that was the whole thing, trying to keep it a secret and trying to. We didn't tell that many people that actually we were even on the show at all. Until maybe about a week or 2 before it actually was aired. We started telling people that we were on it, you know. So that was a great buzz for. We actually had an evening here, and we all gathered at the house here, and the house was full.
I can imagine.
Yeah, so it worked out. It was a great evening's crack. But no, anyone who has the idea, I was thinking about it, should try it, have a go at it, have a. You know, it's just good fun. The obstacles they're doable. Everything's doable, but the only thing about them is, if you make a mistake, you're gone.
Aye, yes.
Such a narrow time frame. You're only talking minutes.
Aye, and I remember I was watching it here in the house, and the Cubs were all watching it. We were all watching it together, and we were all excited. Like it was mad for the lads, like to be able to see the girls that they were at school and all on the TV. It was all great. It was a great buzz locally here in the town and around Loch Macquarie here. But we were saying, for God's sake, it's not fair that they're up against that there. Look at them boys there, like fucking rugby players. That's not fair that they're up against them. You know, like we have this lovely wee notion of a family going, you know, for this family. But the next dudes beside you were like bloody all black rugby players. They're all in their friggin' mid-20s. We're going, hold on a minute. That's not fair. Give the friggin' Heaneys a bit of a fucking fair crack. This like.
I think that was the banter among us actually, was to see if we could beat. As long as we beat them, we don't care what. As long as we beat them, we'll beat them.
Proper order.
They just nipped us by, I think, maybe a second or something like that. There at the end of it all is what they took us by, like so. But it was funny actually, because then the following year we had a reunion of all the families. Organized, and we went down to do the hell and back course.
Mighty stuff.
Yeah, so we went down to do that the following year, but it was so funny because in the girls, they got the bit between their teeth that the lads were there, and that we had to beat them lads, and that didn't matter what else, we had to beat them lads. So, but we did. We managed to beat them on most obstacles. Like, but they actually
good enough.
They broke it into 4 sections for us that day. So we beat them. No, broken into 5 sections. Sorry, 5 sections. So we beat them on 3 out of the 5. So that was more. That was
well. I'm officially recording that on this podcast as a victory. Yeah, go Heaney's.
We're going to take it too.
Absolutely. That Hellenbach course is some crack too. Did you do the whole thing, or was it just a section per person then?
We did the whole thing actually as a family, but it was broke down into 5 different sections. You know, we
Aye,
did so much, and then we had a bit. And then they went again and done more. We didn't do the whole thing as one full event, like as such. So it
aye.
wasn't so bad, but it meant that we had more time to catch up with the rest of the families and all the rest. So it worked out really well. Like, so it was good. But that's it. I'd love to go back and try that whole thing sometime. Actually,
I'll do it with you. It's a friggin'
yeah,
brilliant course. I've done it
yeah.
before. I've done most of the obstacle runs before. And a good one for you to think about is the next one. I suppose coming up would be the Rampage event at the Jungle NI. It's a
Ah, yeah, yeah.
fantastic course. It's just up the road from us as well.
It's like more and more.
Um, really enjoyable if you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So this year we're right up to 2024 now already. We've mentioned that you did the Crease Lock event. We both did that. That was a Sea to Summit event that would have took in that
Monkeys up, monkeys and down again.
Muckish. I got a great photograph of you actually going around the cliff face on Muckish and the big scenery in the background. And I have to say, at that point, you were in your element. You know, I could say, well, this boy's done this before. You can clearly see this man's been up a few hills in his time, like, you know. Um, got you on the bike, but we'll say nothing
Yeah,
about
you got me. That's because I took the wrong turn, Mickey. That's what it was.
that. That's right. That's
I get
right.
you next time.
You did the Ring of Kerry this year as well, Nell, on the bike, and you did the Lap of the Loch. So you've been on the bike a fair bit. Um, they're biking. 2024 has been a big bike year for you.
I will, you know, it is when you get all these family get-togethers and the banter gets up and you start, uh, you know, jesting at each other what you're going to do. So the brother and I were picking it other for a good few years at different events. So we're going to do something. So
Hmm.
we took the notion this year we would try, and I says, right, come on. I seen the entry coming up for the Ring of Kerry, and I thought, right, come on, you boy, we're going to have to do something here. So he, once I mentioned to him, he jumped at it right away. And the next thing I realised, he had a new bike. I thought, oh my God, what have I started here? So, no, Ring of Kerry, it's a great race. Actually, it's a lovely route.
Aye,
You know, the one funny thing about it is the road surface is amazing,
I've heard that. Yep, yep.
even though it's very hilly. I think maybe it's the fact that the surface is so good that the hills maybe don't feel just as bad. They're more gradual hill. They're not,
Aye,
you know, and they're all very doable. But it turned out a great day. Like we really enjoyed it. And then of course when we enjoyed it so much and the adrenaline was up, we had to find something else.
uh huh. As you do.
Yeah. And then I always had heard about the Lap of the Loch. The Lap of the Loch must be on the go a long time for. I remember it talked about quite a few years ago when I had
Hmm.
been. So I thought, right, well, I've never done it, so I chased it up, and we got two entries for it, and so right, we'll go with it. And then whenever I mentioned it, then Neve decided she would have a go at it, and Kieran Breen, her boyfriend, decided they would go too. So the four of us went and did it.
Hmm.
And Mickey, it rained from we got on the bike to we got off the bike. It never stopped.
You'd have been
It,
drier going through the lock, maybe.
I probably would have had I went for a swim. I probably would have been drier, right? Yeah, yeah. And the thing about it, there's nothing but holes. There was
Uh,
bikes parked in every hole, punctures, left, right, centre. And no, it wasn't a great event. Let's put it that way. It wasn't very pleasant.
on a different day, maybe it would have been a different thing. The gravel grinder, I mentioned it at the very start
Uh,
of the episode too, and we had some crack actually at the end of that because I don't think either you or your brother Brian had any mud guards on your bikes.
no.
And the state of your faces, because it was a dirty old day in terms of the weather. It had been very wet in the lead up to that event, and then with the gravel being wet, a lot of puddles. There was a lot of that fine grey dust being thrown up from the trails, and everybody was bogging.
Like
But
quarry dust or whatever, like quarry, the stuff that really sticks to you. And it
that's
gets,
right. Whenever you and Brian took off your
oh,
glasses at the end, just the white bands of flesh that was protected from the glasses, and then the pure grey faces, like, it was
yeah.
hilarious.
Well, actually, it was when we looked around them that day, there was quite a few guys
There
that
was indeed, I
slightly
yeah.
worse than us again, even.
There was a couple of dudes came out of it, and they reminded me of some of them commandos in that show. Remember the Predator film, Arnold
Yes.
Schwarzenegger? The boys are all painted up and all in the rainforest. Where I kind of like that. You could just see the eyes flickering from left to right. You know,
It's a tough race too.
it is a tough race, a good event, but a hard event. A tight course, plenty of hills. Not for the faint-hearted, but something that we've done this last couple of years. I'd probably tackle it again next year, all being well.
I think I would have a go at it as well next year. Actually, definitely the tracks, the roads through it are good. Not,
Uh-huh.
not bad, not bad.
And as you say, if you just go to it to get round it and enjoy it,
Exactly.
and take the pressure off yourself.
Exactly.
I'm putting two and two together and coming up with half a dozen here now because your running's in the bag. You have the running, your biking. I think you have your biking too. You've done a few big bikes. I think there's a triathlon in you. Is there any big plans or signs of any interesting events or opportunities that might present themselves to the Heaneys, either yourself or to the rest of the family, maybe in 2025? What are we
Well,
thinking about looking forward?
the girls are now, they're all into the tri. They're into the tri club.
They are indeed, yep.
They both started in the tri club. So, and there's a whole lot of talk around the kitchen table. Sometimes you wonder, you could have to be careful. You wouldn't know what you could get talked into. So, we'll not say we're not doing something, but we'll see what the year brings ahead of us.
Aye.
The whole lot
I'm,
of
I'm, I'm going to suggest that things may have come full circle from the days whenever the girls were looking up to you and seeing their dad doing all the running, and they have followed their dad, and now they're all into the Harriers and into their fitness and Ireland's fittest family and that. And now they're maybe roping you into some things too, perhaps.
That's the problem. It has come around full circle. That's the kind of the way it is now. I'm trying to keep up with them now.
Good
They
stuff.
used to keep up. They used to bother keeping up with me. Now I bother keeping up with them. But no, it's great, Mickey. We love it. Like getting out together and doing different things, and it doesn't matter what it is. Like runs, bikes, triathlons, whatever, out canoeing, whatever. It's just we've always done it together. It's never matter. It's always nice whenever you decide that you want to. That I say, look, I'm going to go and do such and such. Oh, can we come too?
Aye.
That's deadly. That's brilliant. Yeah, it's
Oh,
great.
yeah.
You know, that's what it's all about. And even at the ages that they're at the minute, to still want to say, Dad, can I come too? I said, yeah, of course, come on ahead.
Yeah.
They end up driving home, but that's it.
No, that's it. That's magic. That's what you want. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's lovely.
yeah,
It's lovely that you have that as a family. It really is very, very
that's nice.
rewarding thing to have.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want or wish for anything other than that.
Well, the good thing is now they've got a lot of friends too in the same frame of mind.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
they're in the circles running with Desi's family.
Uh-huh.
And they're all together doing events together, and going away for days together and stuff, and they've met some great friend. I think actually getting involved in a club is to me is always a great idea.
Uh-huh.
Comes to sports of whatever it might be, the Tri Club, for example, or the Oma Harriers. Harriers, I've been lucky that they've put trust in me now a couple of years to be actually chairman of the club. And it's great to see things building and people working together. And they're a great bunch. There's a great bunch in the committee, brilliant
Yeah.
bunch. And everybody just works away together. And you can see a lot of. It's nice when somebody comes to the track that maybe he's not able to make a lap of the track.
Yes.
We had a couple of people came there lately, and that's just this the case. They were hardly able to make, and all of a sudden, before you know where you are, they're on the 5K.
Yeah.
And then the next thing they're talking about, oh, we're going to do the Oma half, and I'm thinking, whoa, slow down here a minute. You've only just back 4 months ago, you hardly even were able to run the lap of a track, and now you're telling me you're going to aim for the Oma half. But that gives you a buzz when you see that, when you can generate that in people, and you can get that bit of enthusiasm in them, and it's brilliant. It's great. But we're trying to build in the juniors at the moment to try and bring them on.
Uh-huh.
we can build on the juniors, then the Harriers will last long beyond me or wherever else. So that's the aim at the minute. Just working forward.
I suppose looking forward to 2025, the Harriers' very, very successful local event here, the Omaha Half Marathon, has already sold out.
Yeah,
How many entries are we looking at then for the 25 race?
around about 3,000.
3,000. Is that? I presume that's the biggest
Yeah,
gate
yeah.
to date, isn't it?
People are constantly asking for more spaces, but you have to decide what the numbers are that make it feasible. Not
Yeah.
feasible, safety wise and so on. You have to worry about safety in numbers and so on. But there's a great bunch of guys, just that's their focus. The half marathon committee, that's their focus, is the half marathon, and they've been working so well for years together. Like, there's lads at it from the very start and working really, really hard, putting in a lot of hard work every year, and it never
Mm-hmm.
ends. You know yourself, when you do these events, just because the event ends, the event's over. You might be a month and you're taking it to the next year, trying
Yeah.
to get your set up and trying to get all the things pulled into place. Like, the reason for actually closing the entry, or that you're glad that the entries sell out so quick, is because they get the medals ordered, they get the t-shirts ordered, they get all the things in place, and they have to be ordered this side of Christmas
Aye.
to have them all. You know,
Yes.
but you're talking big numbers.
Yeah. No, it's a great event. Credit to the Harriers, the club and the committee and the members, and those that special wee group of guys that dedicate themselves to it, because you'll never hear anybody say a bad word about the half marathon in Oma. You know, it's a really good event. It's a real good feel. You know, the feel of it, the
Yeah,
atmosphere at it, the support locally in the town. And it's such a buzz, you know, even the run up to it, the amount of people that we see out pounding the pavements, you know, in the weeks and months before it, it's
isn't it?
unreal.
It's unbelievable to actually see how many people are actually running around home at the moment. It's just, I don't care. I don't care what time you go in. You could be 5 o'clock in the morning. It could be 10 o'clock at night. You're bound to meet somebody running along the road and round down down the Cookstown line and round
Yeah,
Campsie, whatever. It's just all the time.
yeah, and
Yeah,
and those people are probably people like myself, you know, that are lucky enough to be in a town that has the facilities, that has the clubs, that has the enthusiasm, the ethos, you know, and that sort of community spirit that we all have. We're just very lucky. We're very blessed actually to be able to have all that. You know, with when you think about all the clubs around the town, you know, in all aspects of sport, we
yeah.
are pretty lucky that way, aren't we?
Oh, well, actually, I spoke to one of the guys from Athletics NI there about 2 weeks ago, and he was mentioning that years ago that used to be all the focus was in Belfast, not that part of the world, as being the bigger clubs. But now he says it's actually come Tyrone and Fermanagh. This is where all the big races are happening down here. The big focus is down here, where they have the big numbers in actually um, committees, or not committees, but in clubs, and people out running. So that's good to see. That's a big plus for the area. You know.
There you are. Niall, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you. I look forward to chatting to you outside of the podcast in various events now over the next couple of months and certainly next year. I just wish you and the family all the very best now, an injury-free winter, and we'll look forward to 2025.
Yeah, we'll definitely look forward to 2025. I'd say we'll meet you somewhere on the road at some stage, Micky.
There'll be no doubt about it.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks a million for having me.
Not a problem. Thank you.
We'll talk shortly. Take care.